Alright, what's up guys? Thanks for joining me today. First of all, I would like to apologize for the delays a few times that I had to do for the stream today. I was getting things ready. Took a little bit more time than what I was anticipating. But let's go on and get into the stream today, shall we? Alright, start the music up. Totally forgot I had the music off for this. There we go. How's it going, guys? What's up, Nick? Nice to have you with me again today. Hey, Andre. How's it going? Let's get this shared a couple of places real quick before we break into anything today. Alright. Ah yes, CXC has appeared and it looked badass. It looked really awesome. Oh yeah. And I've got some incredible screenshots to share with you guys from today's episode. Also, I took some notes this time so I wouldn't get anything confused. Let's see here. There we go, okay. So yeah, today's episode was incredible, just absolutely. The action was just out of this world, let me tell you. I have never seen animation done this good before. The Crimson Drive, that was Issei's new formation that he got at the end of today's episode, was just spectacular. CC was also incredible, and we finally got to find out who Sairaog's pawn was. Lion of Nemia. Wow, I never expected that. The Lion of Nemia. I never would have expected that. Let's go ahead and let's break into some of these awesome slides that I got for today's show so I can share them with you guys. See here. Alright, going into today's episode, we started off with Sairaog releasing his limiters that was put on his body that kept him from putting out too much power. Those were finally released today. And man, the impact they had when they fell off. His Toki was just incredible, guys. Regulus Nemia has 7 pawns? Holy shit. That's an awful lot. I mean, I gotta say, you can really tell where they put the budget coming from this episode, because the character designs and the animation looked freaking fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic. I did not see one awkward scene in today's episode at all. It was just incredible. Alright, so we started off with him lifting his shackles, or I guess you could say limiters in a way, because they do restrain his power from him putting out too much. But then we go into the battle. Unfortunately, I was unable to actually get any good screenshots of the one where, you know, Rose Wise did her feint using the mimic sword, because the animation was just too fast. Like, I kept trying to go back and try to catch a good scene with it, but everything just came out blurry because the animation was too quick, and so I just decided to move on to the next scene, which is where Kiba and Zenobia decided to double up on Durandal on Sairaog's right arm because it wouldn't cut through, and they succeed. They succeed in actually cutting off his arm, but it took 2 of them to do it, and I thought that was a really great action scene, you know, the teamwork between those 2 pulling that off. And next, this is where Zenobia gets defeated. And that was incredible. That was some incredible action by Sairaog, defeating Zenobia like that. Like seriously, you could honestly tell in today's episode where they put the budget for this animation, because it's all in this episode. It's going to be all in the last 2 episodes. So, I mean, this is unbelievably... Today's episode was unbelievably good. No, that's an understatement. I'm not going to say good. I'm going to say excellent. Probably the most beautiful episode I've seen besides last episode where Gasper became a man. But, I mean, this episode, the action, the animation was incredible. Sairaog used close combat. Yeah, the battles were fantastic in today's episode, bro. I mean, not only that, but I mean, in the last episode where Gasper became a man, there was, in his scenes, like, there wasn't actually any blood, even though he was getting attacked by a dragon. You wouldn't see any blood spurs or anything. He would just take the damage. Which, you know, is understandable because, you know, Riaz's team has magic protecting their armor, which, you know, kind of lessens the damage. But this time around, in today's episode, we get to see some blood, and I think that really helped with the impact. I think it really helped with the impact of the scenes a lot. Because everyone looked magnificent. Issei is still better in that he has 8, but when you consider the number of pieces you use, is dependent on the strength of the master, comparing to Regulus. Ah, yeah. That's true, Andre. But anyway, we reached the end of the first match where, you know, Rosewise, Zenobia, and Kiba end up getting wiped out by Sairaog in the end, even though they did weaken him. They weakened him quite a bit, and we're going to get to that here in a few moments. And it's in the first battle where Zenobia, Kiba, and Rosewise face him that he ends up having to use his Phoenix Tear. His Phoenix Tear bottle just so he can reattach his arms. So Sairaog no longer has a healing factor. And this is going to play huge in the next episode, I think, because in today's episode, not only did Sairaog end up having to, you know, having to use his Phoenix Tears, but Issei as well. So it's going to be really intense next episode, guys. Issei's angry face. Oh yeah, I took some screenshots of that. Don't worry, it's on here. We're about to get to it, actually. So after Kiba gets defeated, he says it's up to Riaz and Issei now to win the match. And this is where Riaz and Aja look over at Issei, and it's just not a pretty sight. I mean, Issei is furious. He's been holding it in this whole entire time. And they look over at Issei, and his face is just outright furious. He is enraged. And going into the next match where he faces Sairaog's queen. Let's see, what was her name again? Her name was Kuisha Abadan. Where he faces off against Kuisha Abadan, which is Sairaog's queen. Sairaog immediately senses the danger, and even though it looked like, you know, even though it looked as if Issei defeated Kuisha in one shot with his rook formation, what actually happened is Sairaog withdrew her from the match, forced her to retreat, because she honestly would have died from that one attack. Oh yeah, I'm glad they did that too. She looks really good in them. But here we go. Here's Kuisha Abadan right here, who is Sairaog's queen. And Issei then decides to give her a warning. He says, put all your strength into defense, because I'm not going to be able to hold back. If you do so, you'll at least be able to get out of this as a retirement instead of being completely destroyed. And she comes back with a smart remark. She says, well, you know, you got a big mouth. And Issei says, well, you know what? I've given you your warning already, so I'm gonna go ahead and get on with the show. I mean, just look at how badass he looks in this one shot. Look how well they did the face. Everything is perfectly proportioned. It looks fantastic. They did a really good job. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, because they took the rules out. Well, actually, I think the rules were still in play during the game, up until after Issei defeats Sairaog's queen, after he defeats Kushia. But I mean, Riaz and Aja, you know, they look at the screen and they see just how serious Issei is about the rest of this match. Like, he is not going to let his defeated friends be in vain. All the anger that he has built up ever since, you know, Koneko and Rose Wise's battle, Gasper's battle, all of that frustration and fury that he's just held on to is now going to be unleashed. And so he powers up, and he just looks so badass in this one shot. I'm so glad I took this shot because, you know, it has the bangs hanging down over his face, and he's powering up. It almost looks like he was going into Juggernaut Drive, like we saw in Season 3, toward the end of Season 3, where he walks over. He has that exact same expression. But, I mean, he gets ready, and he nails it. And he looks like he nailed her with his rook formation. Except, like I said earlier, he did not. What actually happened is Sairaog forced her retirement, pretty much, or withdrawal from the match, because she didn't take the warning serious. Hey Damon, nice to have you. Oh yeah, the latest episode was fucking epic, man. I loved it. Probably gonna watch it again once I get done with the stream today. He didn't hold back at all. At all, man. He told her, it's like, I can't hold back. You might as well put all your strength into defense power. At least then you'll be able to just retire instead of get killed. And she didn't listen. And Sairaog, you know, he paid attention to that. And he's like, well, I'm going to have her forcibly withdrawn from the battle. Because that one blow would have killed her instantly. Issei had that killing intent a long time since this happened. Last time it was Season 1 and 2. Yeah, Season 1 and 2 definitely had it. Also in Season 3 when he actually went into Juggernaut Drive, but it was just absolutely incredible. I mean, hairs were standing up on the back of my neck with today's episode, guys. It was insane. Yeah, she didn't listen at all. And Riaz and Aja are just, you know, in shock. Because, you know, they're thinking, you know, did he really just annihilate her with that one attack? I mean, look at their faces. They are just in total shock from that. Yeah, he definitely was concerned for his friends. And the Red Dragon Emperor, who has declared the principles of domination. Oh yeah, he has his own oath now, or his own spell now. He pretty much changed it. And I thought that was pretty awesome. Not to mention, guys, CXC and Crimson Cardinal today, seeing those formations were just absolutely epic. Like, they did a fantastic job designing those. Yeah, Nick, I think they were actually trying to get him to, you know, go back into Juggernaut Drive. But there's a young gentleman that appears in today's episode that I believe came into play during episode, I think it was either 8 or 7? Or where he comes into play? I can't, what was his name? Lirenkus? I think that was the young kid's name that was standing out there with his mother after the hero show. And he missed the signing. You guys remember that episode where the kid missed the signing with his mother? Yeah, the old by Dragon Van. He plays a huge part toward the end of today. He played a huge part toward the end of today's episode. Lirenkus. I think that's his name, Lirenkus. Yep. Lirenkus. Yeah, Lirenkus. Sorry. I don't know why can't say it. I don't know why I want to say Lirenkus, but Lirenkus. But yeah, Lirenkus plays a huge part. So, you know, as I stated, Sairaog withdrew his queen because he sensed the danger that she was going to die from Issei's one attack, and Azazel caught on to that. He said, Azazel says he forcibly withdrew his queen before the attack made impact. Yeah, I think Lirenkus and also, you know, Irina helped a lot too. Like the lines, Lirenkus's lines and Irina's lines, you know, their whole scene was just absolutely beautiful. Like, I literally started tearing up. It was just a beautiful scene. But yeah, I mean, holy shit, guys, the action in today's episode. Yeah, I loved Alina's scene. It was just heart-touching, heartwarming, incredibly heartwarming scene. And then we had the kids, you know, all singing, you know, the Old Pie Dragon, saying Old Pie Dragon to cheer him on. And, you know, Issei comes to and he forgets about his rage. And creates his own spell, which then triggers Crimson Cardinal Drive, which, like I said, looks absolutely fucking incredible, guys. But one of the things that, you know, really surprised me today, right, was Sairaog's pawn, which I keep forgetting the name, Lion of Nemia. There we go, Lion of Nemia, which I thought was really incredible. And this is where, you know, Sairaog and Issei agree that, you know, from here on out in the match, no rules, because they won't be able to fight each other with restraints. And Issei actually admits that he wouldn't be able to defeat Sairaog if he didn't go all out anyway. Regulus Nimbus. And we're headed into the second match. And, you know, some people were, you know, saying on the Reddit that, you know, the fact that Aja was sitting out was cheating. I don't see how that would be considered cheating, because she's a bishop and she doesn't really have any actual, you know, combat skill. So I thought it was actually appropriate for Aja to sit out and let Riaz and Issei go against the Lion of Nemea and Sairaog. Yeah, the Lion of Nemea looked fantastic. I really loved how, you know, it had the scene where it had the three gears. It had Issei's boosted gear, the Securite gauntlet. It also had the Axe of Nemea, which is what Lion of Nemea comes from. And then there was also Solsil's sacred gear, True Longness. So I thought that was really nice, because it was like a nice collaboration of three epic sacred gears. Yeah, they didn't explain it in the anime. I think that would have helped a little bit for some of the people if they did explain it just some as to why she's sitting out. Yeah, I honestly think that it would have been really helpful for some people if they explained, you know, just a little bit as to why Aja had to sit out the match. Yeah, I mean, she doesn't really have any combat experience or skill, because her sacred gear is, God, I can't remember the name of it, something healing. Divine Healing, there we go. Divine Healing. Aja's sacred gear is Divine Healing, so pretty much she just has the ability to heal. I don't think they've actually had her, you know, practice anything where she would take on any combat experience other than healing, so it's probably the best option for her to sit out. Oh yeah, the Riaz attack from the Lion of Nemea was pretty awesome. The amount of blood that was shown was incredible. I was really impressed with that. Twilight Healing, there we go. So guys, I mean, we got one more episode left to to go through. We got the climax coming up next week. After that, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing live streams on, guys. I'll have to find another series or, you know, come up with another topic to do some live streams on every once in a while. But I think, you know, after the final episode next week, I'm going to be getting back into reviews heavily, because I've got to get the High School DxD Hero one out first, because apparently Hero is going to end before Frank's this time. And I think, you know, that's due to the fact that Darling and the Franks had those 2 interviews, and it kind of prolonged the series a little bit. Otherwise, Darling and the Franks would have finished first. Agia lacks combat skills, thus she uses her familiars to aid her, but sadly she hasn't received fanfare yet. No, she hasn't yet received fanfare yet, unfortunately. Oh, you want to see CXC? I'm gonna get to that in a minute here, Carl. I'm trying to catch up on any questions that I might have missed while I was just, you know, talking away. But I mean, look at the designs today, guys. They look so much better. Like, you can honestly tell that they've put a good bit of the budget into today's episode, as well as next week's episode. Now, Andre is... I don't know. Did they even announce the pawn's name? Like, I know they announced his sacred gear. But you said something about Rugless, and you also... I think you said that Riaz didn't go up against Rugless. Rugless Ray Leather Rex. I'm going to have to reread Volume 10 again before I do the review, because I honestly don't recall them announcing the pawn's actual name in today's episode. I think they just showed his sacred gear, the Lion of Nemia. Any news on Season 5? Not yet, unfortunately. Nothing has been announced yet. I'm going to stick to my instincts and say that this season is going to sell incredibly well due to the wonderful animation that we got from Passione this time around. I've read a lot of articles on this season so far and how popular it's been getting. Its ratings are still, you know, incredibly good. It's doing great in Japan right now, so I have no doubt that we're going to get another season. A lot of the Japanese fan base want there to be a Season 5, even a Season 6. You know, when I first saw the pawn transform, right, when he was standing in front of Riaz, I was thinking that it kind of resembled, you know, when Freed transformed into his beast after, you know, being picked up by the Chaos Brigade in Season 3. I was like, oh no, here we go, another one of those. But I was really impressed with how they did the Lion of Nemia. Rugless? Okay, so we'll call him Rugless then. Summer or fall? Oh, that sounds appropriate. Well, I mean, it's already summer, so it might come fall at the latest. You hate cliffhangers? Well, it was a good place to have a cliffhanger right there at the Crimson Cardinal Queen Drive. But like the matches today were absolutely incredible. The first battle where it was Zenobia, Kiba, and Rosewise going up against Sairaog, the action was just so intense and fast, like super fast. Like Sairaog is like, I couldn't even get any like decent screenshots of when he attacked Rosewise because the animation was just so fast. Yeah, an OVA would be great too. I'm hoping they get an OVA released for the Hero Rangers part that was supposed to be a part of Volume 9. Because I would like to see the trials and actually see Sarah fall in action, because I think in the novel it's her, Surzex, and someone else are dressed up as the Hero Rangers, and they annihilate an evil spirit, from what I recall. And I would love to actually see them do that in the anime for the Hero Rangers part. Yeah, Volume 8. They need to animate that part of Volume 8. But man, guys, I mean, the action in today's episode was incredible. Do you guys have like any recommendations for anything else you would like to have streamed after DxD finishes? I kind of had an idea of possibly trying something like live reviews. Explain the human form of the Golden Lion. Well, the Golden Lion itself is called the Lion of Nemia. And apparently the pawn is actually the sacred gear, from what I'm getting from the anime so far. So apparently the sacred gear, the lion, the Nemia axe, was destroyed upon some kind of mysterious group, and when Sairaog found it, it was already transformed into the actual Lion of Nemia. And that is when Sairaog decided that he was going to make it part of his peerage. So it's a sacred gear without restraints. Pretty much. And it's because of the fact that, you know, it doesn't have its, you know, its weapon form anymore. that it can only participate in matches with Sairaog, because Sairaog is apparently the only one that can control it. The Lion of Nemia's power is extremely... what was the word he used? Extremely uneasy. Not uneasy. God, what was the word he used? Unstable. The power of the Lion of Nemia is very unstable, and he can't control it very well. I didn't catch the rest of them, the rest of the names in the novel. I'll have to go back and reread. But yeah, I think having the Hero Rangers put into an OVA would be great. Yeah, you mentioned that he took up 7 pawns. I'd imagine that would be incredibly difficult. Overlord Season 3 and OAT Season 3. Hey, that's not a bad idea there, Carl. I might actually try doing Overlord Season 3 streams. Sairaog is the only pureblood devil to possess the sacred gear. That I did not know. But yeah, I mean, the CXC formation and Issei's Cardinal Crimson Queen was incredibly well designed. Yeah, Riaz had a hard time today. Had a hard time today in the second match, and I was really impressed with the amount of blood that they allowed for this episode, because, you know, like I said earlier, and the last episode where, you know, Gasper made his big moves and he faced off against that dragon dude, which I can't recall his name right now, but after he faced off against him, you know, he took a lot of damage, but there was no blood. But, you know, that's understandable, considering that, you know, Riaz's team uses magic to reinforce their armor and their clothes, so it kind of reduces the damage. Yeah. Lion of Nemia is a mid-tier. I think it showed that in actually one of the scenes today. It had Sekiryute no Kote, and then it had Lion of Nemia, the Lion of Nemia axe, and then above it had True Longness, which is Soul's sacred gear. And I thought that was a really nice scene. It kind of put it in perspective for you. This is one of my favorite scenes right here. When they first start exchanging blows, it kind of resembles the one from episode 1 at the start of the season, you know, where they did their trial battle to test each other's might. I was actually really surprised that I was able to get that shot. Yeah, and that's going to play a huge part in next week's episode too, because now, you know, both Sairaog's team and Riaz's team have used up the Phoenix tier that they were given. So it's going to be intense. It's going to be really intense. Yeah, I honestly think the blood was needed in today's episode too, Andre. Given the amount of damage that she took from Rugless, that would definitely be needed. It would have just been off if they didn't have the blood. It would have probably destroyed the scene, so I'm glad they did the amount of blood that they did. It really improved the impact of that scene. To be honest, I'm more interested in those two enemies. And the two enemies that are coming out this summer, Yuna and Haunted Hot Springs. And how not to summon a Demon Lord. Well, I don't know. I'm considering doing an Overlord stream for you guys for the 3rd season of Overlord when it comes out. I think that'll be good. Also, once Overlord comes out, I'm going to be rereading. I'm actually going to start reading the novels, because I started off in Overlord with the anime instead of the novels. That was an anime only for me for a while. And so, with the 3rd season, I'm actually going to start reading and watching, so I can do an accurate review, because my review on Season 2, you know, even though it was good, you know, some people pointed out some things and they were rather correct, so I want to do a review this time going off, you know, adaptation from light novel to anime, and just, you know, kind of compare the two and everything. Soul's true longness is a high tier longness, along with Zenith Tempest, Annihilation Maker, and Dimension Lost. Boosted Gear, Dividing, and Regulus Nemia are mid-tier. Yeah. That is correct. And I really like the scene where they had like the 3... When Azazel was talking about the 3 types of sacred gear. It had Issei's Sekiryute no Kote, and it also had the Axe of Nemia and the True Longness. I like how it went in and explained it. Yep, we're going to have to see what comes of the next episode, because, you know, remember, they've used it up, both of them have used up their Phoenix tiers now. And there's going to be a lot of damage come the next episode. It's going to be really intense, guys, so hold on to your seats. And here's the scene where Ruggles stands off against Riaz. Well, after season 3 of Overlord comes, then LMs are gonna stop for a whole year. The author said, so he will do this for in the future. Yeah, I think he did say that he's going on at least a year hiatus after season 3. Season 3 kind of was announced rather quick, like immediately after season 2 ended. There was already a trailer out for it, so they had to have started work on season 3, I'm guessing, while season 2 was still airing. But yeah, I mean, I plan on, instead of doing strictly anime-based review for it this time around, I'm going to be doing light novel to anime adaptation review, pretty much. I'm going to be comparing, you know, what's different done from the Overlord light novel to the anime. And also to get some more insight. Alright, Andre. I'll catch you later, man. Thanks for coming. But yeah, guys, I know you've been telling me you wanted to see the Lion of Nemea transformation, so I'm gonna go ahead and break into that one real quick. Yeah. What's up, Jay? Thanks for joining us again. Yeah, today's episode was incredible. Like, I'm not even sure incredible will do today's episode justice. As a matter of fact, I'll take that back. I'm gonna say no. The word incredible does not do today's episode justice at all. We need something better than incredible. I mean, just the animation, the designs, the action was just absolutely... I can't think of a good word to put it. It's like, there has to be a better word besides incredible. Godlike, there you go, epic, godlike. The animation was just so well done and epic. Like I was saying earlier in the stream, and I wanted to get, a couple of screenshots of when, Sairaog attacked Rose Wise in the first match. And I couldn't because the animation was just so quick that every time I tried to take a snapshot, it would end up being blurry. No, spectacular still seems a little bit lackluster for what today's episode was. It's better than spectacular. Because It has to be better than spectacular in order for me not to be able to take my eyes off the screen for the entire episode, you know what I say? There you go, phenomenal. Or epically phenomenal. Godlike phenomenal. But yeah, so here's the Lion of Nemea, which looked fantastic. Like, the design for the Lion of Nemea was epic as hell. They did a really good job. Like, you can tell even with the designs for the regular characters and everyone in today's episode, including the eye catch. That the lines for when they drew the characters, they're a lot more, what's the word I'm looking for? They're a lot more defined. The lines are a lot more defined when they drew the designs for today's episode, because they look really, really good. The giant lion, Lion of Nemea. Just looks badass. Majestic sounds a little too soft. Oh yeah, for the giant gold dragon, not dragon, what am I saying? Lion, yeah. For the Lion of Nemea, transformation definitely. I mean, just look at the designs, guys. I mean, the lines look a lot more defined on the characters. They're not as thick, and they look great. Yo, Rugal, how's it going, man? Nice to have you again. Doing good, doing good. I'm really hungry though. After the stream today, I'm gonna go ahead and make me some nice ramen. I've also got to do some repainting on my boosted gear cosplay today as well, so it's gonna be a busy afternoon for me. This is the Lion of Nemea. It's the pawn from Side Ogre, if you're wondering about that, Rugal. And this is the scene that I liked from today's episode that kind of explains, you know, the 3 sacred gears. We had a scene where, you know, Azazel's talking about the Lion of Nemea and how it was sealed away after a battle with Hercules in the past. And then we get to a scene where he's talking about the 3 sacred gears here in a second. This is one of my favorite scenes of Ria's right here though, where she's shooting her magic. I tried to get a picture a little bit clearer, a picture that was a little bit clearer, but I think this was the best that I could do for the Riaz shot. Just got a new job. Awesome, man. That's good news. Oh. Yeah, that would have been good, but you know, it's a 22-minute episode, and it's kind of hard to fit all of that in. Yeah, it was extremely hard. She took a great deal of damage, and we're about to get to those screenshots here in a second. So here we are. This is returning back to Sairaog and Issei's match, where they're facing off against each other. And this is where Issei remembers, you know, his friends. And I thought that scene was really great today. How, you know, how he had the flashback of his friends facing off against Sairaog. And it has Kiba saying, we won't go out without a fight. We're going to put you in the best condition so we can send you off to Issei. And that's where Issei gets ready to fire off his blaster bishop cannons, which was absolutely incredible. Oh, they all get stronger later on, trust me. No, actually, he did not pull out Juggernaut Drive. He was close to pulling out Juggernaut Drive today, but thanks to Lirenkus, the young kid from episode, I think either 7 or 8 from this season, that was a huge fan of him. Thanks to Lirenkus, he was able to avoid going out of control into Juggernaut Drive. Instead, he gets a much better formation called Crimson Cardinal Drive. And you're going to get to see what that looks like toward the end of the stream. But here's the scene where it's the flashback. Issei has a flashback of Rosewise, Kiba, and Zenobia. And Kiba says, we're not going to go out without a fight. We're going to put you in the best condition ever so that we can send you against Issei. And what he meant by that was, we're going to wear you down. And they did. They actually did manage to wear down Sairaog a good bit in the first match for Issei. Because, you know, I think, guys, even after Sairaog reattached his arm, having to use his Phoenix tier, I think he still felt an effect from it. Because there's a scene that I'm going to go to next where he's kind of grasping that exact arm that was cut off. And I think he's still feeling some of the pain from it. Either that or Issei did something to it that I missed during his battle scene. Yeah. Kiba and Zenobia cut off his arm in the first match, although it took 2 of them to do it. I thought that was a really excellent scene, though. And this is where Issei gets ready to make that incredible uppercut using his rook formation. Yeah, and you can see it in this scene that Sairaog's arm is not fully healed yet, leaving an opening for Issei, allowing him to make that swift uppercut. Sky uppercut. I was very shocked when Durandal cut his arm off with a single hit. I wouldn't say it was a single hit, otherwise Zenobia would have been able to do it by herself. It took her in Kiba to actually put the pressure down to cut off Sairaog's arm in the first match. Yep, they explained that too. The match that Kiba, Zenobia, and Rose Wise had against Sairaog really wore him down and made him slower. So Issei was able to get some attacks in. And this is the ultimate scene right here, where Sairaog gets lifted up by that huge uppercut, and Issei gets ready to fire off his blaster bishop cannons. Yeah, I wouldn't imagine it would be very easy to cut his arm off, considering the toki that he had surrounding his body at the beginning of the episode. That was some ferociousness. And guys, I gotta tell you how hard it was for me to get this one shot right here, because I was trying so hard to get a good scene where Issei is using his blaster bishop cannons, and I managed to do it. I am really happy with this shot. That's got to be, like, besides the ones that I took for the armor, this has to be one of my best screenshots of today. Because it was so hard to get this shot done, because the animation was so quick and I had to keep going back and pausing second per second, inch per inch, until I got the right shot that I wanted. Yeah, I was really impressed with the quality that I was able to get from it. I was like, wow, I paused that right at the perfect moment. Carl, when I first got into anime, I was a sophomore in high school. Actually, no. I think it was my freshman year where I actually got heavy into manga and anime. Like, before then, I would watch it, but I wasn't, like, really, like, heavy into it. Until, later on during my freshman year. You got into anime 2 years ago? Well, you got a lot of catching up to do, man, which means you got a lot of anime to watch. A lot of anime to watch. You guys are gonna laugh when I tell you how old I am. But I'll tell you anyway. I am 33. So I started watching anime my freshman year of high school. Well, actually reading manga and watching anime my freshman year of high school. So when I was, I want to say 16. What can I say? I'm an otaku. It's what I do. It's my happiness. Anime is my stress reliever when I come in from a bad day of work. There's nothing better than just sitting down and visiting a world where my supervisor, where I can imagine my supervisor getting blown apart by Issei's blaster bishop cannons. Yeah, everyone says that. Well, actually, a lot of people have said that I look 16 still, and even younger than that. And I'm like, you know, that's really flattering, but no. Alright guys, so we have one more episode to complete Season 3. And after the season ends, you guys can expect the full review to come out. It probably won't come out for, I want to say, a little bit, because I still have to order the rest of the costume so I can actually, you know, put things together I want, because I want to do like a full in cosplay review for you guys. The first review coming up that is going to actually be finished is probably going to be Frank's, because it's already halfway done, but yeah, I'm sorry, to complete Season 4. One more episode to complete Season 4, and then after that, the review for Season 4 should come shortly after I put out the Darling and the Franks review. Here's that beautiful but yet very cruel scene of Riaz being covered in blood from Ruggles. Yeah, I plan on making both reviews really good. The Darling and the Franks review is halfway done through the writing process. I haven't recorded any of it yet because we still have 2 episodes left. But the High School DxD Season 4 review is going to be coming shortly after that. Because, you know, even after the writing's done for the review of Frank's, I still have to record and edit, and that's probably going to take at least a week at the most to get everything completed. Yeah, I mean, Riaz took a lot of damage in today's episode. Of course, she went up against Ruggles, the Lion of Nemea, so kind of to be expected. I'm really glad that they added as much blood as they did for that scene, because if it didn't have any, it would really look off considering the damage that she took. So they did an excellent job with it. And honestly, guys, I gotta say, when it comes to Sairaog's design, I have to say I prefer this season's Sairaog to the one that we had out of the first 3. Because in the light novel, Sairaog is actually, when him and Issei first meet, they're already, you know, muscular. And so I thought that this build for Sairaog suited him better, you know? Because, you know, he built up his strength through training. He doesn't have any magical attributes. He uses all physical power. So it would only be natural for Sairaog to use, to look buff due to his training. So that he could have that physical power. So this season's Sairaog looks a whole lot better to me. Like, there's no way I'd ever go back to the old one. It just wouldn't suit. Like, I can't even picture the old Sairaog from seasons 1 through 3 doing this match and, you know, coming out with these exact same, you know, awesome results. I just can't. Oh, speaking of volley, there was a surprise guest in today's episode that I totally forgot that was in the light novel. One of the past White Dragon Emperors made contact with Issei today, guys. And I had totally forgot about that in the novels. I had totally forgot about that in Volume 10, but he does come in contact with one of the past White Dragon Emperors. That also helps him overcome the urge of going into Juggernaut Drive again. Rugal says, I watched Fairy Tail 4 to 5 days. Wow, all of it? That's pretty impressive, man. I couldn't watch all of Fairy Tail in a single week. It would take me at least 2 weeks, maybe 3 at the most, to finish everything. This is the scene right here, guys, where we find out that the Lion of Nimia says that if you want to save Rias, you have to go ahead and use your Phoenix tier. And so now we know, you know, both Issei and Sairaog have used up their Phoenix tiers that they were given at the beginning of the tournament. Yeah. Issei took one of Volley's gems from season 2, yep. Here. And here we have a shot where Rias is being healed by the Phoenix tier. She took on a considerable amount of damage. Rias honestly would have bled to death if they hadn't have used the Phoenix tier. I think honestly he still has it. Like, he still has dividing. It's just it's an optional thing for him, pretty much. He can opt to use it or he can opt not to use it. Kind of like second liberation. But the fact still remains that he does have, you know, some of Volley's power. That was proven in the Holiness Behind the Gem episode, the recap episode that we had before we actually hit episode 1 of this season. Well, actually, he did use it in the recap. No, it doesn't resemble Goku at all. At least I don't think so. I think, you know, Sairaog's balance breaker looks extremely badass, and we're about to get to it in just a second here. I don't remember him taking the power back, Rugal, to be honest. More like, you know, pure badass. We're about to get to that scene right now where Sairaog pretty much stops Issei in his tracks with his balance breaker. Nah, not Golden Power Ranger. This looks a whole lot better than Golden Power Ranger. See anything else we got here? And here we are, guys. This is CXC. Sairaog's balance breaker, where he pretty much takes the Lion of Nemea and dones it as an armor. And does it ever look badass? Like, they did a fantastic job with this armor. I mean, that just looks godlike. That is fucking godly. I liked how the armor looks, like, compared to, like, the first arc where we saw Azazel, you know, use his balance breaker. This, the detail in Sairaog's compared to that one looks a whole lot better. Like, you can honestly tell they put in most of the budget into this episode and the next, because the lines are a lot more refined, they're sharper, they look great. But yeah, I mean, CXC just looks incredibly badass, but that's not the only transformation that we had today that looks badass. A lot of people were anticipating Sairaog's transformation for a long time to see how it would turn out, and I gotta say, it looked fantastic. Beyond fantastic. Well, I know Ishibumi loves Gundam a lot. A lot of the models, like, I know Issei's armor itself is based off of Gundam. And this is one of my favorite shots. Like, I wanted to try to get, you know, the armor in this shot where Sairaog is facing Issei. You know, a little bit clearer, but this was the best I could do given the frame, the amount of time that the frame was in. But we have Issei rushing towards Sairaog after his transformation because Sairaog says, "Come at me using your rook." And Issei comes at him, and I just think this was an excellent shot because you see like the gleam, the green gleam of Issei's eyes from his armor. And it just looks incredibly badass. But you know, for Sairaog to stop, to not only stop Issei's fist in that rook formation, but also damage his armor just by barely touching, that's some incredible power coming from his balance breaker. That is just incredible, the boost that it gave. You know, Sairaog is already, you know, the strongest of the young devils right now. So adding on this rugless armor really intensified the damage. Oh yeah, he managed to do more than crack it, actually. I mean, he barely touched Issei's gauntlet, and it just started to crumble, like it bent in. And that's what I kind of wanted to like emphasize with these two shots right here, because we have where he stops the right hand, and then Issei comes around with the other hand, and he stops the other hand. And you can actually see in this shot right here, you can see in this shot where the gauntlet is actually starting to crumble and like shrink like a tin can in Sairaog's hand. That is just incredible power coming off of that boosted gear, plus, you know, Sairaog's original power itself. That's a huge boost. Oh yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one, Damon. The Crimson Cardinal formation looked incredible. I mean, they did an excellent job with the designs today. I was so pleased. Everything looks fantastic. Looks really sharp. And this is where we have Sairaog get ready to give Issei a sternum punch, and I actually caught the impact from this punch in the next shot. But yeah, seriously, the damage that Issei took in this battle was fantastic. Compared to the battle that Issei had with Soul, like in the light novel, where Issei faces off against Soul in that final match or actually before the final match. The part where, you know, Sol says, "You realize you could have died just now due to my spear." In that one scene where he faced off with Sol, there was supposed to be blood coming out from Issei's abdomen, which is, you know, specified in the light novel. However, the anime didn't have it. I think it was covered up by the pink smoke that came out instead. Which I don't understand why they did it that way for that particular scene, but in the fight against Sairaog today, you actually got to see a good bit of blood coming from Issei as well, and it was just fantastic. There's the impact blow from the sternum punch. And like he literally shattered Issei's armor. That is just an excellent shot. I'm so glad that I got that shot for you guys to emphasize on just how powerful that sternum punch was. Look, you can even see the toki around Sairaog's armor where he punched. You can see the toki, the white toki around it. I thought that, like, just look at the scene here. It's incredible detail, just how well they did the angles on the armor. Looks great. It looks beyond great. Like, I can't even find words to describe it. Here's the shot where we get to see a good bit of blood coming out from Issei's mouth after taking that incredible sternum hit. Yeah, I mean, that was one hell of a blow. And guys, I gotta tell you, I feel really confident about this season and how well it's going to do in sales. Like, I honestly have a hard time believing that anyone would want to pass up the battle between Sairaog and Issei being animated. Honestly, I seriously doubt anyone will pass that up. And this shot is where we know, after Issei, falls to the ground after taking the sternum punch, he meets with his senpais. And his senpais are trying to, convince him to use the Juggernaut drive again. Because of all the resentment that they have, they're saying, use Juggernaut drive. It's the only way that you're going to be able to beat this guy. You have to use Juggernaut drive. And it starts to get in Issei's head. The resentment that he felt when he first used Juggernaut drive is starting to come back. And they really did an excellent job animating these scenes. Issei, you know, he's starting to feel the resentment that came from when he first used Juggernaut Drive from Season 3. It's all starting to come back to him. And he almost starts to use Juggernaut Drive because you see his eyes, they blacken. And that is about the point when Lirenkus comes in and interferes and actually saves him from having to use Juggernaut Drive. Yeah, I mean, I'm really glad that Lirenkus actually came in and interfered. I was really pleased to see Lirenkus in the audience. I was hoping that he would be there. I think, in fact, that Lirenkus returns proves a point, you know, of how, you know, Issei, the Old Pie Dragon, is everyone's hero. I mean, the episode stated that today with Irina and Lirenkus' comments. It totally relayed the theme and the point of this season's story, is how Issei starts to realize that he is a hero to these children and a hero to the underworld. I have only one complaint when it came to the stadium shot, because before it reached Lirenkus in this one shot right here, there was a small scene where everyone kind of looked like they had plain faces on, like they were still anticipating the match, but yet at the same time you heard crying. So I think it would have been done a lot better if before they showed Lirenkus' face, that the faces in the audience were actually sad and tearing up. Maybe a few close-ups here and there of some tears being shed. But luckily, Lirenkus' lines and his whole entire scene, along with Irina's scene, really, you know, made up for that. Lirenkus with his Old Pie Dragon hat on. I want one of those. You can even see, like, in the top right hand corner, you can still see part of Issei's signature on it. And here we have a beautiful shot of where Riaz is over Issei, lying on the ground, showing from the stadium screen. It's another really beautiful shot. I think I have them in the wrong order though, because I think this shot actually came before Lirenkus. But oh well. The point will still get across. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention to you guys, I have another video coming out about Uma Musume here in the next week. Another video coming out about Uma Musume in the next week, because apparently last week when I put out my review on Monday on Uma Musume, I stated that it deserves a second season. And then shortly after, on Tuesday, I read an article where the creator of the series wants to continue it as well, so apparently we are going to be getting a second season of Uma Musume in the future. He's just waiting for some merchandise to sell, a little bit more merchandise to sell, and see how things go from there. But we will be getting another season of Uma Musume. So I thought that was like some impeccable timing, considering, you know, I got that news like immediately the day after I put out the review. And here's this is my best shot of Irina that I was able to get for today, where she's tearing up and she's telling everybody, "Don't you believe in the old pie dragon? Come on guys, we've got to cheer him on. I love Issei too. He may do a lot of lewd things, but he's a really decent guy and he has a good heart." And you know, those words were just really, really beautiful coming from Irina. Yeah, the whole Lirenkus and Irina scene, where they're telling everybody to, you know, cheer on the old pie dragon, and everyone starts saying, "Oh, pie," cheering him on, really helps bring Issei out of his rut where he's, you know, getting infuriated over, you know, Sairaog, and keeps him from having to use Juggernaut Drive again. And Issei takes notice of this. He sees Lirenkus in the audience. Everyone's cheering for him. Yes, actually, Nick, I am going to be announcing that in my next video as well. My next news video is going to be covering at least 3 series. I'm going to be going over the announced second season of Uma Musume, the new movie for Konosuba, which is apparently going to be done by JC's staff instead of Studio Dean this time. I was surprised to hear that, you know, the movie is going to be done by JC's staff. Because I've always figured JC staff, you know, their art style was a little bit more serious, but then again, you look at Shokugeki no Soma, and they do some really good comical scenes as well, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, my next news video is going to be coming out in the next week, and I'll be talking about how the creator of Uma Musume wants to create a second season. I'll also announce the movie for Konosuba, which will be coming out, and also the sequel to, what was it, Princess Principal. This is probably one of the most beautiful scenes right here, guys. The scene where Riaz is lying on top of Issei in tears, you know, she's whispering to him, Issei, do you hear them cheering for you? I know you can hear them cheering for you. Please wake up. Please wake up, Issei. And that's when we have our surprise guest come in, the former White Dragon Emperor. Well, I guess, Carl, I guess you can kind of consider it shonen in a way, but it is mainly harem. And here's our surprise guest that came in today, the former White Dragon Emperor. And he helps Issei overcome his hatred towards Sairaog and avoid using Juggernaut Drive. I can't remember if they actually announced the old White Dragon Emperor's name in today's episode. I'm going to have to rewatch later. But I was really pleased to see him make an appearance and offer Issei up a hand on, you know, conquering his hatred towards Sairaog and calming him down so he can actually get on with the match. This is the former White Dragon Emperor, Carl. I'm not sure which former White Dragon Emperor he is, but because it wasn't specified, but it is one of them since, you know, Issei took part of Vali's power in Season 2. If I had to put my money on it, I would say it's probably the White Dragon Emperor that was defeated by the greatest Red Dragon Emperor. That was explained in episode 9 of this season. Yeah, I'm not really sure which Dragon Emperor, which former White Dragon Emperor he is actually. I'll have to go back and watch, but he is definitely one of them. Could be, actually. Although I don't think it's explained yet, but it could be that he has some kind of, you know, connection to Volley, besides being the former White Dragon Emperor, or at least one of them. I'd say that's a pretty safe bet there, Nick. Gonna have a long evening ahead of me. I've still got a ton of anime to watch. I've still got to repaint some of my boosted gear cosplay. That's a good point, Nick. Now guys, we're about to get to the last two screenshots that I have for us today of Cardinal Crimson Drive that Issei managed to unlock thanks to the former White Dragon Emperor and everyone cheering for him. He created his own spell, a deviation of the original, Juggernaut Drive spell, but one that is a lot safer, which enabled him to have Crimson Cardinal Drive, and I gotta say, it looks epic. Just the coloring and everything for it looks absolutely fantastic. Check it out. Here's the first shot where, Issei awakens and his whole armor has been redone. It has a more crimson look to it, and Riaz is just, standing there, sitting there in awe. At this development, she is just in awe from it. And then finally, we get to the full form of the Crimson Cardinal Drive. And guys, does it not look epic as hell? Look at this. The wings are incredibly detailed. Everything looks sharp on this design. But yeah, I mean, today's episode, guys, is going as one of my favorite episodes out of the season so far. The action was incredible, the animation, the designs were perfect. Yes, based on Riaz's beautiful hair. Definitely, you guys, if you haven't checked out the episode yet, you definitely should. There's a link down in the description where it'll take you to 9 Anime to watch the series, and you'll be able to find the uncensored version of today's episode there as well. But I'm going to let this be me for today, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream. I've got to go make me some dinner and do some painting on my boosted gear cosplay. Please do look forward to my review of Darling in the Franxx coming out probably within the next 3 to 4 weeks. I know I've got to do a news review a news video on some upcoming series that's going to be coming out next week. After that, I'll also be finishing the Darling in the Franxx review, so that one will be coming out, and then shortly after that, I'll have the High School DxD Hero review. So look forward to those, and until next time, I'll catch you all in the next video.